All right, so interest forms, I just want to say this again and again. Sadly, you cannot save the form on Airtable. I don't know why, it's infuriating, but you cannot save the form on Airtable. So I highly recommend folks to start on a Google Doc, a Word doc, a sticky note, I don't know. Just anything that you will have a reference point to come back to in case you just click off that Airtable. And unfortunately, you know, you lose that work, and I don't want to see that happen to you. So I just have to say that again, please save your work, please save your work on a different platform than the Airtable, and then transfer it when you're ready to submit. We had some issues with this last year. I've done it before myself. So we really want to make sure folks feel 100% comfortable with that, knowing that, so they don't feel thrown off when unfortunately you have to move away and then your computer crashes and then your beautiful work is lost. We don't want to see that happen to you, okay? So looking at the interest together, there's a bunch, it's on Airtable. You can just, you know, jump on in. So all this stuff on top is on the website. I'm not going to read it right now. We just went over it. So it's really just the basis of the whole program, what the differences of the two programs. So I'm not going to read this in totality. So I'll just start right here at the top of the form. So we're going to ask you for primary contact information. Please make sure it's a working email and a working cell phone number, because we really will need to get in touch with you either way. So please make sure that is happening. If you do have a website, great, go ahead and put that in here. If you do not stress. We don't need you to be creating a website in the next like 2 weeks. If you have something, great. Your artist statement and/or biography. I like combos, you know. I was seeing this last year where folks put a very kind of more specific biography that was like, you know, this is where I've been, you know, presented, this is where I've gone. I would say really try to get into a little bit more about your point of view as an artist as well. You know, maybe you can weave that together. If you have a straight up biography, that's fine too. You know, I have a bio, so I get it. We just really want to get to know you as an artist. That's really what this question is about. So whatever you want to put in here, that would be great. And again, this is that question that Martian was talking about, but will you like to be considered for the parent and guardian residency? Yes or no? Again, email me if you really only want to be considered for the parent and guardian 1 week time frame. Then we go into your project. So this is really a chance for you to tell us about your initial ideas, what you're interested in exploring, what you're chewing on. So if you have a title, great. If you don't, untitled, TBD, totally fine. A project description is really important for us to know, what are you working on? What's the project about? If you have collaborators and confirmed creative team members, go ahead and list them here in their roles. That would be great for us to know, just so we can see the scope and scale of the project. This is also a really important question, this idea of what is driving this work? What initially brought you to this work? What's the artistic catalyst for the work? This is important for us to kind of get a little bit in the reviewers, which we'll go over. I know Katie asked this about criteria. This is really important for folks to know what's the impulse behind the work. How are you thinking about the work? It could be big questions. It could be, I'm playing with form in this way. It could be, I'm really interested in this content or themes, and I'm exploring it through this lens. So again, what's driving the work? We're just wanting to see how your thought process is working there. And then an overall project timeline. So this could be in the past, right? Like maybe you've done a showing of it. Maybe you had a workshop of it. Maybe you had some friends over and you read it out loud. And then R&D is one opportunity, right? And then there could be future opportunities that you may already know, or that you know you're interested in pursuing. So just go ahead and list all the different timelines for your project here. It could be really rough. It doesn't have to be super formal. Just, you know, March, casual reading at whatever, you know. Maybe it's like, you know, June 2023, residency at somewhere fabulous, right? That you already know you got. So really just trying to see what is the timeline of this project? What in your mind, how are you thinking of it? So this is the area we get the most questions about, is support request. So again, this is super open-ended on purpose, right? Because we're trying to see kind of what you need to best support your project. So when we ask for specific support needs, I'll go back to that list again. It could be research. It could be collaborator fees. It could be space. It could be anything we need to consider in terms of any budgetary considerations. So again, I showed you all the budget. I was very honest and transparent about our resources. Oh, yes, I can do that. Okay, I will zoom in. Thank you for that note. Let me know if that's better for you. So if you're, thank you. Okay, great. If you're suggesting, I'm just, a 15-person cast, and you want to do a reading, and you want to pay everybody $1,000, probably not in our budget, right? Because you saw our budget. Sorry, my dogs are going. So just keeping that in mind, we have a total project budget for all 4 programs, all 4 artists. And so it has to be, it's kind of a puzzle piece, right? So we say, oh, okay, this person met all the criteria, got amazing feedback, and then they want these things. And we just do this like, I would, Alexia asked, should we include the dollar amount in the breakdown? If you know what you're thinking, yes, I would say that, yes, absolutely. Or if your ranges, if you're like, I think it, I would like to pay a collaborator around this, just so folks know, we typically, and that's how the R&D figures got created. LAPP has a practice of paying artists no less than $20 an hour, which is how we got to those $1,200, $1,600 fees. So I would say start there as a starting place. If you only want your collaborator maybe in the room, we had this last year, they only wanted their collaborator in the room for 2 days. And so we're like, great, we could tell, we made that work. We got them space, we got the collaborator, we were able to puzzle piece it together. So I just say, be really specific, be clear, be transparent. I will always let folks know, even maybe it met all the criteria, got really great review. We want to move forward with it, but maybe we have questions about something we can support. I'll call you. We're not going to outrule anybody to be like, wow, this seems outrageous, or whatever it is. But as reviewers, let me just close my door. My dog is like, woo. She's a very old Chihuahua and very grumpy. So she really, I would just really recommend being as specific as if you need. But again, think about, and we'll talk about this with the criteria, and you saw the budgets, just keep in mind, this is not for full production. I will say that. Again, it's research and development. And then your support timeline here. So again, it could happen anywhere from April to June of this year. So what are you thinking? Again, 2 weeks for R&D, 1 week for parent guardians. And then if you do need space for parent and guardians, definitely. But if you do need space or you need time at home, let us know that, so we can know. Again, if you need this gigantic warehouse, we're going to need to factor that in when we review the proposals to be like, can we afford this when this artist wants this and this artist wants it? And so it's like, again, this big puzzle Tetris that we're trying to figure out. So just I need a sprung floor. I need whatever. Kate asked, should we be considering space as a direct cost to the program in the same way as like a stipend or material cost would be? So we cover the venue cost if you need a venue. So that's factored into the total budget that we have for program expenses. So that's not in addition to your stipend. So your stipend is for you as lead artist, or if you're a co-artist and you also want to split that, that's for the artist and the time that you're spending on this project. The program expenses or the support needs or the space is in addition to the stipend. I think that's what you're asking, but let me know if that's not clear. Then we get into support materials. So these are work samples. I know work samples always give people, hives, but really we're trying to be super gentle with this, you all. Please use what you have, cut together something that you feel really proud of, showing that really showcases yourself as an artist. Again, going back to that biography, that artist statement. We're trying to see, okay, you say these things, you say you're playing with this form, you say that you're a multidisciplinary artist that uses video in their work, it'd be great to see a sample of that, right? So just making sure they're in conversation with one another. If you're saying you're a multidisciplinary video artist and then we get a dance piece, we're like, unless it incorporates dance, we're like, okay. So just please submit the links. You can do up to 3. 1 is required. No more than 5 minutes of video. We will not watch more than 5 minutes of video. So again, if one sample is 1 minute, one sample is 2 minutes, etc. But it's not 5, 5, and 5. It's 5 minutes total in video. And then if you're text-based or you want to use images, we say no more than 10 pages, and not including the cover page, of course. And then you have a URL place for you, or if you don't have it via URL, we have an attachment option here for you. That's new for this year. I'm learning, you all. So 2 questions. Is it acceptable to have multiple clips from various work within the one work sample? Yes, absolutely. As long as you're showcasing, what you need to be showcasing. I would just caution 1 minute's pretty short, and we want to make sure that the reviewers know what they're looking at. So I would really use this work sample detail paragraph here. Please let us know, what are we looking at? I cannot stress this enough. This is the most underutilized little box in most grant applications. But just give us a quick description, or if there is a timestamp so you don't have to waste your time editing. If you're like, just please start at 5:01 and go to this, if there's any passwords we need to view it, I always just say, please utilize this. So if it's multiple clips, let us know why. Why are we watching? Like, why are we watching this? How is it supporting the case you're making? Katie, great question. How long for audio clips? We didn't get audio clips last year. I would still say 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes total. I have to honor the labor of our reviewers. But let me know if there's something that, like, if they're like, then let me know, because I hadn't really thought about audio clips. We didn't get any last year, so I'm going to write that down for myself. But thank you for that, Marsha.
I'm seeing a previous question from Brendan that asks about word limits for the questions.
Yes, thank you. Oh my gosh, I missed that. Yes, Brendan, this is where I get to go on my soapbox. So I actually, I have eliminated word counts because I find them oppressive, and I feel like they're a waste of people's time, and you all have better things to do than wordsmith a dot in a paragraph. So there are no word limits, but what I will encourage you, because we do have our reviewers, is be brief and succinct. I've had folks literally copy and paste like a bio that's like 2 pages long, too long. So just put the most important information. I just want to make sure that you all can express yourself in a way that is best for you, and it's in the spirit of equity, to be frank. But I also want to make sure that you are also really respectful of our reviewers, and really put things that are important and necessary, and not take advantage of the space. So get to the point. We're not expecting novels. I actually think reviewers love it when it's brief and clear and concise, and they can kind of breeze through things. So again, just make sure you're keeping that in mind, that another human is reviewing it. Please keep that in mind. That's what I would say. All right. Any questions on the interest form before we go into review criteria? Yeah, Katie.
And I'm just thinking about the project I'm applying with. I have 2 additional collaborators, so we're all lead collaborators. But I think ideally we would have more than $1,600 to split between the 3 of us. So I'm just, what's the best way to sort of share that? Like, do I call them my collaborators that I would need to pay, or how should I do that?
So you would be the primary or whoever submits would be the primary contact. You would list them under your creative team collaborator section, and then in your support needs, you'd be really clear, right? I'm the lead artist, but we would all like to be paid X. So we know Some of that will come out of the 1,600. Some of that will be in addition, right?
Okay. And I wouldn't consider myself the lead artist, but that's just for the purpose of the application.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And you can even list that when you list your collaborators. It could say Katie, Tova, lead artist.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So then we know how to talk about it, right? How the reviewers can talk about it. Yeah. Great. Thomas has a question. Would it be acceptable to have a concept pitch video for the proposed project as one of our work samples? It's totally up to you. I always tell folks, you do what you feel is making the best case for your project. I would say, great, if you have something that's already of the project that you're developing, awesome, because then I think it's a little bit more clear for reviewers to be like, okay, got it, right? This is what they're talking about. It's not required, that some of these projects are very early on. It's just an idea, it's a germ, it's a seed. You're not gonna have video, you're not gonna have links, so that's okay too. It could also just be about your artistic practice, your body of work as an artist. We're trying to get a better sense of like, how do you approach things? What's something that you've done in the past that we can kind of get a sense of your voice? What's your perspective? So that's what I would say. Again, Thomas, totally up to you. And we have new reviewers every year. Some of them love that. Some of them are like, oh, I wish I had seen more of their previous work. That's why we switch them out every year, to keep it completely new and fresh and have new eyes at it. Let's see, Jennifer asked, can we apply more than once with different project ideas? We are asking folks to submit with one project. So I'm not going to stop you. We're not going to like, throw this out, but we are asking folks to be discerning. And again, it's just because there's so much need and we have limited time with our reviewers that we are asking folks to just hone in. I know it's difficult, and submit with one project. Yes, so Marcus asked, are there additional funds beyond the 1,600 depending on the nature of the project? Yes, so that's what I'm talking about, Marcus, with project support or support needs in the interest form. So we give every artist the $1,600, and this is just for R&D, not for parent and guardians. We can talk about that differently. And then when we talk about your project, or when we look over your support request, we then go into our budget that I showed you all, and we say, can we support this, right? Can we figure this out? So that, again, that could look like research, it could be literature, it could be collaborator stipends, it could be a space, right? If you do need a space, it could be that. So anything that you need in addition to the 1,600. If you just need the 1,600 and you're going to be working outside in the park, with that. We did have, that was one of our projects, Lindsay Lawley. She was in a park and she just needed the fee and time. And we were like, and consultation, right? And then that's how we move forward with her. Yeah, so the 1,600, we consider it a lead artist fee, Marcus. That's so the 1,600, but to Katie's point, there may be a couple of different lead artists, so it may be split. But we really do want you to, again, keep in mind that $20 an hour stipend. We don't want anybody working for $5. I mean, like that's not what we do. That's not what we want here. So again, I go back to, if you have a 20-person cast, it might not be the best program for you, and you wanted to pay them all. Other opportunities. There's other opportunities out there. So we got asked, how early do you expect the project to be? Great question. So we really have found, and we'll get into this with the criteria, that this particular opportunity is best suited for folks that are early on in their process. So either, again, an idea that you're trying to kind of get out and suss out, something that's maybe had one workshop or one showing, and you're like, wow, I got so many notes and now I don't know what to do with them. Maybe it's something that you've only done in your living room and now you really want to get it up on its feet. So something a little early on, something that needs research, something that you're still chewing on, something that maybe needs to be embodied in a different way, or maybe you just have never had an opportunity to work with a collaborator. You are a playwright, or you are a dancer or choreographer, and you're like, I just need to be in a room with 2 dancers and work this out and see if it's an idea worth pursuing, as an example. For the support timeline, do we need to list specific dates or can we give options? Yeah, absolutely. For the timeline, it's really just a chance for us to kind of see where you think the project is going. Does not have to be chiseled in stone. It could be like applying for this residency in, you know, June 2023, getting a group of dancers together in, you know, November of 2023 to showcase it at Alley Dance Project, whatever it is, you know, just any ideas you have, so we can see that the project is going to have a life, really is what we're looking for here. It's to say that you've thought it through, you're thinking through, maybe you've done stuff in the past. That's always great for us to know. You know, unfortunately, we got some projects that were maybe in the hopper for, you know, 2018 and then nothing. And we're kind of like, that there's questions there, right? You might need to fill in to just say like, hey, we know this has been on pause for a couple of years, but this is why, or what have you, or this is why I'm revisiting it now, or whatever the problem is.